Welcome back to Dinosaur Month on TV Trash, and boy do I feel like a big dumb extinct lizard after watching this inane tripe. There are a lot of entertainment franchises out there, and some of them remain classic, some of them make you wonder just how they spawned out, and some of them by now make you want to scream, "Why won't you go away already?" And right at the top of that third column is The Land Before Time, which debuted in 1988 as one of Don Bluth's most beloved films. A co-production of Bluth, Steven Spielberg, and George Lucas, it's basically the story of the last remaining dinosaurs and their quest to find a new home they can survive in, focusing on a group of dino children separated from their parents and having to work together against their own prejudices about each other. Many consider it among Bluth's finest in showing that young audiences can handle serious topics. And it's so ironic that this was a movie about dinosaurs because it grew into a franchise that simply will not go extinct. Seriously, the movie has spawned a dozen direct-to-video sequels so far, none of them with the help of the original production trio, and pretty much everyone getting cheaper and dumber with each new entry. For crying out loud, Disney doesn't milk its properties that dry! I could go on about the sequels if I was enough of a glutton for punishment to watch them all, but I'll just recommend you check out Mars Girls reviews on the movie series. Instead, I'm stuck watching the animated TV series that debuted in 2007 and that many of the franchise's fans consider to be worse than all of the sequel movies put together. Yeah, this ain't gonna be fun. Now, this was the first entry in the franchise since the first movie to be co-produced by Amblin Entertainment, but not surprisingly, it looks like Steven Spielberg had no direct involvement in it. Heck, I get the feeling even Universal didn't have a ton of faith in this show because it premiered on Canada's YTV network 2 months before debuting on Cartoon Network in March of 2007. And CN hasn't re-aired the series since 2008, and if you know the inane drivel they put on the air nowadays, yeah, that's pretty scary. Let's look into The Land Before Time animated TV series. Now, there are a couple topics I should bring up before the review to get them out of the way. The first is mentioning what any paleontologist and even some comic strip characters could tell you, that not all of these dinosaurs lived together at the same time. Most notably, most of the sauropods like the apatosaurs were already extinct when the tyrannosaurs came into existence. However, this historical error is common in just about every movie and show featuring dinosaurs, and likely will be seen in other stuff I'm going to review this month, so I'm just gonna take that as par for the course. Also, I apologize in advance if I get any references or mentions wrong with this series, because I haven't seen the original movie in years and haven't seen any of the sequels. And that is a big deal because apparently there are a lot of references and throwbacks to the movies in this show. Heck, I get the feeling that was a big reason this series was made in the first place, to get more little kids hooked on it so they could go out and get their parents to buy the movies. Anyway, the show naturally focuses on the 5 little dinosaurs that have been the staple of everything. The Apatosaurus, or long neck Littlefoot, the whiny girl Triceratops, or 3-horn Sarah, the mute Stegosaurus, or Spiketail, called Spike, the cowardly Pteranodon, or flyer Petrie, and the Hypercerophilus, or swimmer Ducky. They all still live in the Great Valley, that lost world that has been used in so many other stories where the plant eaters are supposedly sealed away and protected from the carnivores. Now, we also get a couple new additions to the main cast. The first is Chomper, a baby Tyrannosaurus or sharp tooth that was introduced in the second movie but was only seen after that in the fifth. Now he lives in the Great Valley for some reason, but hides in a cave because the adult plant eaters likely are afraid of him. To be honest, I kind of like the idea of Chomper. He does come off as aggressive and hyperactive, but that can be justified by him being the youngest of the group and constantly battling his predatory nature. At any rate, I think Bluth would be proud, as he is on a small scale like Tiger from An American Tail, showing that there can be exceptions to the species that are often used as villains. Unfortunately, there's the other new addition. Yeah, this is Ruby, an Omniraptor that I think also came to the Great Valley with Chomper to learn something that's never really explained. And what makes her even worse is that she builds a close friendship with Ducky. See, Ducky was already the most annoying of the original 5 because, well...
Ruby is a good storyteller. Yup. Oh, I cannot be a tree. No.
Yep, competing with Kid Icarus for the most annoying speech impediment in all of cartoons. Now, when you add Ruby's dialogue to Ducky's, it becomes something that makes you want to take a power drill to your eardrums.
Those tree stars that aren't yours! Wow, Smoking Mountain sure is a smoking mountain.
It's like someone wanted to create a bad imitation of Dr. Seuss, failed miserably at that, and then hit its creation with one of Koopa's Devo guns from the Mario Brothers movie. Now, this may be hard to believe, but one character that I didn't really find annoying was Sarah. Yes, she can be a brat and essentially the Lucy of the group, but it is understandable given the prejudices she was brought up under, as her father is pretty much a racist dick. At any rate, she does seem to show remorse for when she crosses the line.
I yelled at Tria. I told her she cared more about her pretty stones than about me. Why'd you do that? Well, I didn't really mean it.
However, if there's one character that really makes me uncomfortable, it's Spike. At times, he often looks like that simple-minded, lovable, goofy-like character you can't help but like, but sometimes you get the feeling you're laughing at a mentally deficient creature. So the series takes place after the 13th movie, and most of the episodes center around Littlefoot and his posse getting into trouble, usually by leaving the Great Valley to explore other worlds, especially the infamous Great Beyond where the carnivores live, which is a really stupid thing to do because this is the home of the vicious sharp-toothed Redclaw, who may or may not be the Tyranno from the first movie, according to fan theories, and his velociraptors Screech and Thud. Because yes, even in the prehistoric age, villains had minions. Actually, this is one thing that really bugs me about the sequel movies and this series. If the plant eaters are all protected from the carnivores in the Great Valley, and supposedly all other dinosaurs have died out, how are the carnivores surviving? All indications are that the mysterious Beyond is a pretty desolate place with almost no life outside the dinosaurs, let alone living creatures that could provide enough sustenance for these beasts. Heck, the fact that all the herbivores escaped to the Great Valley could be the catalyst as to how the dinosaurs became extinct by our historical accounts. But no, they somehow managed to survive despite never being able to get these little dumbasses that practically put themselves in their kitchen all the damn time. So what? Have the sharp-toothed resorted to cannibalism to survive? Insert your own Redclaw Hannibal Lecter jokes here. Other than that, the episodes are almost interchangeable and the same. A bunch of silly, kidified plots that have almost no substance whatsoever.
If Spike doesn't eat any more tickly tree stars,
Will you stop talking about bad luck?
No, it's not okay. Me Uncle Toronto, no leaf eater, who eat it and get bad luck.
Uncle Toronto, that guy's full of crazy stories.
You all know about that meme of Sarah saying, "What can go wrong?" Apparently, the writer's no longer caring is what could go wrong. In between, we're constantly inundated with the absolutely stupid names the kids have for everything. Remember when things like the names they had for their species made sense and came off as endearing? Now we get this.
Oh, Skywater. Oh, now I'll never get to sleep. Well, Petrie, the bright circle is out now, so it'll dry everything up. Right, Sarah? It better, Littlefoot. My tree stars are soggy.
Maybe I should start calling network executives rock brains for thinking tripe like this should be greenlit.
I want to go adventuring, adventuring, adventuring. I want to go adventuring and find a brand new cave.
Let me guess. There are going to be inane, pandering musical numbers like this in every episode.
You just say, oops, eeps, I made a mistake. Oops, eeps, oops, eeps. I feel so happy now that I know you're safe. It's so good to see you, safe in our safety place.
Make it stop.
You guys know me. I don't mind songs in shows. Music can help make a series. But I expect the songwriters to do more effort than the time they spend in the shower. Heck, saying they wrote the music for this show is a stretch. Apparently this and numerous other songs in the show were just ripped from the movies. If the musical composers got paid anything more than free meals at Denny's for their work, I'm gonna lose my faith in humanity. Oh yeah, did I mention they reuse the songs in multiple episodes again?
Adventuring, adventuring. To the jumping water place.
I want you all to stop singing, just stop singing, just stop singing. And what's more, from what I can tell, while there is some continuity with the movies, others are just thrown out the window. For instance, there's this old Pachyrhinosaurus named Mr. Thicknose that supposedly got the kids into going off on their adventure in one movie by telling them these tales that they later learned was the dino equivalent of the Weekly World News. Only now, he's pretty much always right in everything he says. What the hell? Although, to be fair, the target audience for this show wouldn't have the memory capacity or attention span to care about continuity, since they're pretty much entertained by waving keys. And that's something else. This entire franchise was nearly 20 years old when this series came out, which means anyone who saw the original as kids would now be in their mid-20s at least. Compare this to other franchises, like the Toy Story movies and the Harry Potter books, which became more serious as they progressed, adapting for the aging of their original audience. But this thing has just gotten more simple-minded as it adds edition after edition, so each passing version is geared toward the same age group. I will say that's a great marketing strategy, because some 5-year-old watches the latest movie and then he gets his mommy to shell out for all the others, so Universal makes a cash cow. I mean, think of this. 24 of the 26 episodes have been released on 6 individually sold DVDs, possibly to bleed even more money out of parents. So if you actually wanted every edition in this franchise on disc, even assuming they sell individually for just $9.99, the entire set would likely cost more than $200 after sales tax. It cost me $8 to rent 2 of the discs that I couldn't get off of Netflix, and I still feel like I was ripped off. This show is just a boring waste of time. It's the biggest of all these blows to Don Bluth's original work, which dared to suggest that kids could handle things like social issues and mortality. But this series is just a bunch of brainless plots with bright, shiny animation, so it sadly looks like a representation of what Cartoon Network would eventually devolve into. This series carries the biggest name in dinosaur-related animation, so it's sadly going to be the first one everyone's going to think about. It makes me wonder if there's any good cartoons about dinosaurs in their element that no one knows about.
I can tell you about that.
Ah, Huey, I thought I blocked your signal!
Come on, Rowdy. Don't tell me you've forgotten about the show I've been asking you to review.
How could I forget? I think I got carpal tunnel from deleting all your emails about it. Alright, we need to pick up the pace here. This is the Summer Spectacular. So alright, we'll take a look at the show you've been dying for me to see right after this.